keeping pace with control of this race. Here comes a run from Davey Hazard. He blocks the 10. Not going to be enough. Ryan Pace is going to win at Talladega.
Trying to hold off Wilson. He's done a good job so far. Wilson, one last desperate attempt to the bottom. He won't get there. Nick Curry wins at Bristol.
Coming out turn number 2, coming down the back straightaway here. Looks like he's in a class of his own right now.
Merzlak, one final time, get around the 55, big time send.
He hits the wall, he hits it, he gets the lead, but can he hang on to it? Oh my goodness, he made it to the line!
Big push down the backstretch is going to give him a good run through the corners.
Just a little bit
follow from the 1.
A little bit of contact there for second, but coming to the line, Toby Roberson's going to take home the checkered flag and victory here from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Before I wrap things up here in this segment, your thoughts on the type of race we're going to see tonight? And I would have to agree.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to tonight's feature presentation of the Friends as Sim Racers Tour Renegade Pro Cup Series here, live from the Kentucky Speedway. As always, I'm your host, Joe Twansky. Joining me tonight up here in our broadcast booth, the one and only Mr. Joseph Weaver. Welcome to Kentucky, Weaver.
Hello, Joe. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to everybody tuning in to watch us, whether it be on YouTube or now Twitch. Hope you're ready for some fun racing here from Kentucky Speedway with the FAST Cup Series.
Going to be a fun time opening up the round of 8 here tonight, folks. We're going to go for 94 laps when we get this show on the road this evening. Going to award points at lap 30 as part of the modified stage format here at FAST, and practice has been well underway. You see cars out there on track right now getting their final, it's not really a tune-up in terms of changes you can make to the race car, but we are getting some final good drafting laps out there before we head to qualifying.
Yeah, you see a big group there on the backstretch getting some, like you said, draft practice, running around some other cars. It really is going to affect how your car drives out here, whether it be a little bit extra speed on the straightaways, you getting into those corners a little quicker, or even just a little bit more aero on the car is going to make it a little tighter through these corners.
Going to make it interesting, too. Kentucky is a track that a lot of these drivers, if they're maybe a year or two newer to the sim than maybe you or I, they don't have as much experience here with the NASCAR Cup Series the last 2 years not running here at this speedway. A lot of leagues I know have dropped this track off of their schedule, Weaver, and well, this version of Kentucky is also a little bit newer. I believe reprofiled in 2017 to its current configuration and layout that we're running here this evening.
Yeah, Joe, it is kind of disappointing that this track has kind of gone to the wayside like it has on the NASCAR schedule in real life, but definitely can deliver some good racing. Like you said, they reprofiled, add a little bit of banking into turns 1 and 2. I believe 3 and 4 was left mostly the same, other than a repave. But still a little bit of difference there through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4.
It's going to be interesting to see how these drivers take these next-gen race cars around this track tonight. And what challenges might arise as the evening goes on. 1 and 2 a little more narrow than folks that are maybe accustomed to the original Kentucky Speedway and layout and configuration. You can kind of see that there, as you said, too, more banking in that end of the racetrack than there was previous, and 3 and 4 still relatively flat compared to 1 and 2, if my memory is serving me correctly, and definitely visually. I think you can see that there. You see a car crash off a turn 2. Going to have Matt Watkins pile in there as well. Again, this is the opening race of the round of 8, Weaver, so 8 drivers still with a chance to race for a championship. We'll say their names, show the points coming into tonight's race once we switch over to qualifying as part of our pre-race coverage, but 8 drivers, you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of the season. You got 3 races left to kind of get that spot in the championship finale at Rockingham here later on this year, live on JTN. But when we talk about, you only have 3 races now, and we could see 3 race winners take up 3 of those 4 spots.
Yeah, Joe, we talked about it a lot now that we're into these championship runs and a lot of the leagues that we call here. But when you get down to this round of 8, you're getting down to that final cut before you go into the championship race. I think you really just got to leave it all on the line every race. You got to go for it, try to get that win, and guarantee that spot in the finals.
You'll start to see qualifying results spew across the top of the screen there in our ticker, but here's your Cup Series points to start the round of 8. Jacob Smetana has been on an absolute tear this season, comes into this round 17 points up on the cutoff line, which currently features a 3-way tie between Randall Coleman in the 9, Matt Watkins in the 15, and Tyler Mallon in the 81. Now, two of those guys are okay. They'll be in it. But then we start to look at Joshua Moyers, only 6 to the good, and that's where things start to get a little messy because you also have Greg Lovell, 8 points out, Toby Roberson, 8 points out, and Sean Romero only sitting 11 back. So really, the only driver that I feel like feels somewhat comfortable coming into tonight's race is that 42 of Smetana.
Yeah, Joe, and when we were here last, we were commentating the first race of their last round, and in a similar situation, and he ended up winning the race. Didn't think he really had to push it as hard as he did, but he ended up getting that win, locking him in, getting some extra bonus points, and now you see the kind of lead he has now, and I think he's probably just going to try and build on that. And if you're below that cut line right now, you still have another 2 races after tonight, plus you got to see how the race pans out tonight, but you got time to make up those points, but you really got to string up some good finishes. Can't slip at all.
No slip-ups, no mistakes, because they could prove treacherous here. You only have 94 laps tonight, too, if you don't get a good qualifying run to get up to the front of the field. Again, qualifying going on right now. Those results coming across the top of the screen. But while we have the moment, let's go ahead and get a word in from one of our sponsors, Auto Sim 2.
Today we're doing Auto Sim.
Auto Sim.
We are trying out Auto Sim.
Yay, it's Auto Sim.
And of course, Auto Sim 2, the free demo, is out now. You can join the Auto Sim Discord. It's linked in our trailer video at youtube.com/@JoeTowNetwork. Weaver qualifying has concluded. You know what that means? It's time for you to take us through tonight's starting lineup.
With pleasure, Joe. Taking the pole position tonight in the 71 Napa Chevrolet is going to be Sean Romero with a time of 29.071. Rolling off second outside row 1 is the 42 of Jacob Smetana. Row 2, we have Ediver Leal and Oscar Ramos. Row 3, we have the 15 of Matt Watkins and the 9 of Randall Coleman. Row 4 is the 93 of Jovan Anderson and Sean Whitehill in the 12 car. Row 5 is the 8 of Cody Luke and the 088 of Greg Lavelle. Row 6 is the 33 of Jeff Goodpaster and the 03 of James Moore. Row 7 is the 1 of Denny Carroll and the 64 of Toby Roberson. Row 8 is the 81 of Tyler Mallon and the 43 of Peter Smetana. Row 9 is the 70 of John Foreman and the 16 of Ali Leara. And row 10, rounding out our field, is the 27 of Tyler Stallhood and the 68 of Josh Moyers.
20 drivers here tonight competing for one checkered flag, one victory at Night's End, folks. Going to be a good one. Again, you can follow us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Now going to have handles as well, and that will be, of course, at JoeTowNetwork to make it nice and easy for you, folks. If you're over here on Twitch, we're streaming to my personal Twitch, JoeTow2. Maybe if you're on YouTube and you're more of a Twitch fan, again, you can follow me on Twitch, and we still don't have a game plan yet, Weaver. We got to discuss that with the council that consists of Bristol the dog, our producer, as well as myself, yourself, Ricky, and Dewey, and Tommy. But nonetheless, Sean Romero on pole tonight. That's what really matters, because that is a good sign for the 71 team who came into tonight on a deficit to make it, and they were also, that 71 crew, that is, the last car into this round, so had to get a tiebreaker on starts to make it in, and doing the most with that rebirth here in the round of 8 to try to go for a championship. Also, breaks the streak of drivers with a first name starting with J winning a pole that goes all the way back to the middle of the summer. For your interesting stat of the night, yeah.
Yeah, big break there for Sean and his team. Kind of been scraping his way into this round of 8, had some highs and lows this season, but definitely a good start to this round. Definitely getting started on the right foot tonight.
Got Magoo in chat on YouTube. Welcome, folks. Make sure when you're tuning in, say hello. We always like to see it. Make sure you're clicking likes on the video. Follow us if you haven't already, and subscribe. There's a lot of different vernacular I'm going to have to use now, Weaver. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. See a couple cars out here on track. Toby Roberson in the 64, the 43 of Smetana. He also got the 15 of Matt Watkins, the 1 of Denny Carroll. So a couple non-playoff drivers, those 2 blue cars, and then that yellow 64 and the 15 of Matt Watkins at the front of your screen, now off of it, competing in these playoffs.
A lot of blue in the field tonight, Joe.
Well, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of yellow. You know, it's like they knew I was coming tonight. You know, I was coming to this race. Old boys in maize and blue did me proud yesterday. Matt Watkins going to make an attempt here at pit lane. Pit lane at Kentucky tricky. Why is that?
Well, Joe, you kind of got a flat bank, turns 3 and 4. Not as much banking as you were come to expect at a 1.5 miles, so definitely a chance of getting loose there. And personally, this pit road to me just feels like it goes on forever, Joe. One of the long curved pit roads, and you're just on there forever.
See Tyler Stallhood in this 27 Honda. Looks like a Civic. I believe it's a Civic. It is. Look at me. Tyler's got a couple laps around this track here at FAST. Back in the day.
Drivers, to your cars.
As the drivers' cars, crews get lined up here on the back straightaway, we await our command to get these engines fired tonight from Kentucky. Welcome in, Mark, on YouTube.
Drivers, start your engine!
It's like the 50 car has missed the start there on row 2. It's going to give Randall Coleman in that number 9. That STP colors, we'll get to that later. Get him up on the second row. Moves that entire outside row, or outside line up a row in the starting grid. Sean Romero and Jacob Smetana going to start on row number 1. Then it's Edver Leal and Randall Coleman, row 2. Matt Watkins and Sean Whitehill. Jovan Anderson, Greg Lovell, Cody Luke, and James Moore. Your top 10 here to start tonight's race. We're going to go for 94 tonight, folks. It's going to be a good one. Flashbulbs going off all in these grandstands as we await the green flag to be dropped. There it is. Down and away we go. Green flag. We're underway from the Bluegrass State here with the FAST Renegade Cup Series. A71 hits the apron, 15 as well. A couple cars playing with that dangerous yellow line as we're going to be 3 wide for second down the back straightaway.
9 Edver Leal looking to the inside. Going to be 2 wide now. Randall Coleman pulling ahead into second. Sean Romero back to third after starting on pole.
42 Smetana loves what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. Has pulled out to the lead by about 2, maybe call it 3 car lengths over Randall Coleman. Sean Romero in the battle on for the 4th spot. Sean Whitehill on the outside of Edver in the 09.
Tight gaggle there. Sean Whitehill going to prevail on that outside line. Looks like the outside line is just a little bit quicker early on. Sean gets way high there through turns 3 and 4. Might open the door, but he closes it quickly.
Whitehill up to 4th. Lovell up to 5th in the 08 after starting all the way back in the 10th spot. So the outside line, Weaver, moving really well right now. They've taken up the top 5 spots. Or top 4 spots, rather. Top 4 of the top 5. That's how the wording should be. There we go. Got it. Battle for one of those spots, though.
Oh! Wreck in the back.
Caution out for the first time tonight. Tyler Stallhood, John Foreman both around here. Gonna replay what happened. Like Foreman at the back end of this. Gonna kick off here. Tyler Stallhood, back bumper, a little bit of that bumper grab. Good passer also involved. Liara gets through it. Foreman just going for a lazy spin through the grass.
Very tight there to avoid the 27 of Tyler Stallhood spinning. Like you said, it looked like some bumper grab with the 8 of Cody Luke. Send him around. I think with how many cars back there, got lucky that one wasn't bigger, Joe.
That is the benefit to having a very wide front straightaway, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely given a lot of places for these cars to go figure out a wreck like that.
Another rule here in the FAST Renegade Cup Series may be different from some other online leagues that folks are a part of. Limited tire sets for these drivers, so that's why you're going to see a lot of drivers elect to stay out. We know it's only about a 2-stop race in terms of fuel. Drivers can go to 30 to 33 laps. Tires, though, will be conserved here early on, it looks like, for most of these drivers.
Yeah, I think, especially after a short run like that, I don't think anybody was even considering the tires, but like you said, definitely something to think about. If we go a couple more laps here, you might start seeing some different strategies play out on when these drivers choose to take those limited sets of tires that they have in the pit boxes.
I wouldn't be a good promoter if I didn't do this, folks. Got some great races coming up for you here on JTN. Starting off with the FTR Winter Series Tuesday night, October the 18th from Daytona. Trucks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. No, it says 9 on the graphic, but we've gotten a couple start times changed there since the graphics were made. Then the Bomb Squad Racing Cup Series is at Homestead Thursday, 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And the NNSCRA Halloween event from Holodega, 9 p.m. next Saturday night. Those races and much, much more live right here, only on JTN and presented by our friends at TWB Technologies. Because, folks, when you tune in, well, together, we're better.
Fun slate of racing coming up. A lot of leagues finishing up their seasons, getting into the fall swing.
Well, that's the crazy part. So, we're trying to do this thing. We're trying to expand a little bit into the Twitch space, right? As we should have about 2 more laps under caution, under pacing here. We're trying to expand into this Twitch space. So, folks, if maybe this is the first time you're seeing from us through the navigations of the Twitch platform, hello. Thank you so much for clicking on our link. But we also have a great back catalog of broadcasts. If you love sim racing, we have been broadcasting this stuff for over 2 years now. But yes, over 2 years now. To YouTube, did some to Twitch back in the day, but YouTube was a little better in terms of video storage. So there's a great back catalog of races. Back through our history of broadcasting as JTN, the JoeTowNetwork. I'm really good at naming things, Weaver. So you can check those out maybe if you haven't already seen them. You can catch up with these different leagues. We broadcast every Thursday night with Bomb Squad Racing League, so their entire Cup Series season has been live, televised on YouTube through JTN, but a bunch of other great leagues that you can catch their stories, keep up to date, and that's what we love doing. We love telling these stories as part of JTN. We're, again, so glad you're taking the time to join us here this evening. And then be a friend and tell a friend, share our links. We appreciate when you do that, too. It's always a big, big help. And say hi. Do all those things. Doing all those things makes us happy, doesn't it, Weaver?
Oh, very happy, Joe. Definitely would appreciate the follow over on Twitch. I think that's something we're going to be hopefully looking into doing more, expanding into different horizons. It's all about options. We got to give the people options, Joe.
Gotta give them options. Gotta sprinkle a little iRacing in there eventually, too, right?
Hopefully, I think that's the plan.
That's your plan. So caution period number 1 looking like it's going to end here when we come back to the line. Smetana, Coleman, Romero, Whitehill, Lovell, your top 5.
That first run there, Smetana able to get to a big lead on the start. See if Randall Coleman's able to keep him at bay.
Oh, let's see how it goes. Pace car is in. Smetana with control. Into the Geico restart zone we will go. Green flag. We're back underway here from the Bluegrass State.
Not the best of restarts there from Randall Coleman in that 9 car. Gonna have some ground to make up if he wants to challenge Smetana for this lead.
Able to hold on to the second position, though. That's a key development there. Romero able to clear Whitehill for third. Whitehill going to have to hold off Lovell in the 088 now to the inside pair. Ford's battling for the 5th or 4th spot, rather.
Oh, Lavelle just barely clears. Is going to be able to slot in here in 4th position. That 71 Sean Romero, he looks really strong through the corners, but he kind of gives up a little bit of time on corner entry. There you see he ran the bottom, and you see the difference in drive off that gives you down that front straightaway.
Now Watkins now looking into the inside of Lovell. Remember, we're going to pay out points on lap 30. No caution going to be thrown for what is a air quote stage break, as a very close moment there with the 09 to the back of the 15.
Very close Edverly on that 09, having to check up heavy for the 15 of Matt Watkins getting into that corner.
Here's Smetana in the 43, looking to clear Sean Whitehill in the 12. Going to do so off of turn number 2. Whitehill falling back a little bit here. Now back in the 8th spot where he started in that number 12 car. Looks like he's going to lose another spot to Roberson as Matt Watkins looks to the inside of Lovell further up ahead, but can't get anything done yet.
Inside just is not there right now, Joe. We got a heat cycle on these tires, a couple laps on them. Can't make that bottom work. That drive off on that outside line is going to give too much strength if you want to even try and complete a pass down low.
Matt's going to keep trying it, though, in that 15. He's going to keep trying it. Roberson doing the same in the 64. Roberson, one of the playoff drivers as well. Not the furthest back playoff driver. That would be Tyler Mallon right now in the 81. Still all the way back, mired in the 17th spot.
Well, Greg Lavelle down low on Sean Romero for third. Looks like he's going to be able to clear him here in turns 3 and 4. Now Matt Watkins looking to the inside.
So Lovell hops up onto the podium. That allows Matt Watkins, as you said, to get to the inside of Romero. Romero falling back here. Could be losing this 4th spot, and he will in the 71. Falls back to 5th, and here comes Peter Smetana in the 43.
'71 just continuing to slip back. Really slow on corner entry. Not sure, maybe saving the tires a little bit. You see the 09 now looking on the inside.
Edver and that Stanley DeWalt Ford going to make that pass. Napa Chevrolet not looking too hot right now. Go back up front, battle for the lead of Bruin. Randall Coleman, the number 9, all over Jacob Smetana, our points leader coming into the round of 8.
Randall's done a good job of keeping that 42 in striking distance, waiting for any mistake to capitalize on and try and make a pass for the lead. Right now, it looks like he's just kind of riding around in second, holding a nice gap.
Coleman now looking to the outside, trying to get some momentum of Bruin down there in 3 and 4. And that's a very classic line down there in that set of corners here in an R2003. I don't remember how many Kentucky tracks back in the day, Weaver, that outside line had so much more grip in it, and if you knew how to run it, you'd be able to make passes left and right. Well, maybe mostly right, mostly to the outside of drivers, but a couple times maybe you dip down to the left. But you could make a lot of ground up running that outside line if you could do it right.
Oh, absolutely, Joe. I remember probably the first time I ran here at FAST in Kentucky, running the outside in 3 and 4. If you could really run that wall without getting into it, you could practically hold it flat out for the whole run, and it was a massive advantage. Well, it was a little sketchy and definitely could lead to issues if you made a slight mistake, but the type of risks you have to take and kind of the risks that we're starting to see here. You saw that couple laps ago, Randall Coleman tried to run the outside line. Looks like he got a little tight, ran a little too high almost. And now he's lost some time, and Greg Lavelle starting to reel these two in.
As that starts to heat up, let's go back to where it's super duper hot as we got a gaggle of cars here towards the back of the field. Battle for the 13th spot now. Denny Carroll and Tyler Mallon. Mallon starting to make up some ground in this 81 Intel Toyota. Going to look to the inside now down the back straightaway. Maybe I'll get anything done. You see Cody Luke and Ali Liara battling for position.
Tyler Mellon going to make that pass work here for 13th.
Car that's taken a pretty interesting line. You saw it there, that bright pink, purple, teal, number 27, Tyler Stallhood. First caution that 27 was involved in it, of course, but really racing up high right now in that car on both ends of the racetrack. Now going to have to dive to the inside to try to get by the 16 Violet Defense Ford of Liara.
It seems like he's really taking a line where he kind of enters it high and just lets it wash up as far as it can. Seems to not really be hurting the speed too much, though. Like you said, just past Ali Liara up into 15th now.
Jovan Anderson trying to make a pass on Good Pastor in the 33. Toby Roberson kind of going down to get in front of that 93.
A little further up, Joshua Moyers continuing to charge to the front. Matt Watkins making a pass on Greg Lavelle for 3rd place.
Well, further back, we're 3 wide coming off of turn 4. You saw Liara getting to the outside wall. Cody Luke stuck in the middle. James Moore coming through.
Things have really picked up here, Joe, these last couple laps.
Can you tell we're coming down to the end of a fuel run?
Absolutely, Joe. Trying to get these last positions. If you were saving your tires, now is when you're really pushing them, trying to get the life out of those tires before you have to go put on some new ones.
We're coming up on where we're going to award points to the top 10 drivers. 10-1, just like NASCAR. Except we're not going to throw a caution on lap 30 for the stage break. So those points going to be very crucial for these playoff 8 that we talked about in the show open. Right now, Smetana in the 42 looking like Jacob going to be able to get the lion's share of those points this evening. We still got playoff drivers top 5 right now.
Yeah, Joe, I tell you what, the 68 Joshua Moyers, he's been on a charge these past couple laps, all the way up into 4th, clicking off some fast laps. Further back, 71 Sean Romero trying to mount a little comeback, get a couple spots back before we have these first round of pit stops.
That going to help the confidence, the driver 71 too, to maybe make up a couple spots here before hitting the pit lane?
Yeah, Joe, I'd say so. I think it also kind of probably was the game plan. Go out there, maybe save a couple tires, thinking this run might go long, and now you got the tire life getting some back, now up into 7th position.
It is a dogfight back here. Jovan Anderson really going to come up the track. Almost some contact. 3 wide behind them. Whitehill on the bottom. Roberson was stuck in the middle. Roberson going to fall further outside the top 10.
It looked like Roberson really had to let off there on turn 4. Now fighting back to 3 wide here.
This is the battle for that last point. Right now, Smetana in the 43 had it last time by. Good Pastor now going to have it this time by. It's going to be 1 to go here before we give out those points. See how important a point is. Tyler Mellon to the inside of the 33, Good Pastor.
Fighting hard side by side. Tyler Mallon with the nose on him down the back straightaway. Going to have a little bit going into 3 and 4. Good Pastor pulls back even.
Here we go. How important is this final point going to be? Mallon going to be clear by a good amount. Good Pastor in line. So top 10 on your pylon. Now your top 10 that get points. And now, Weaver, we get ready to set ourselves up for a first round of pit stops.
Yeah, Joe, I'd expect to see a couple come in pretty soon here, now that we have paid out those stage points.
16 car first down on pit lane. Randall Coleman, Joshua Moyers battling for the second spot right now.
Joshua Moyers, Matt Watkins did a good job catching up these top two. Nobody had been able to catch up to them so far tonight, but seeing it now at the end of this run. Almost looks like the line's migrated back down a little towards the bottom of the track, Joe.
How interesting. Moyers to the inside. Do you think that's just a tire thing? I'm letting off a little bit more now because my tires are gone? Or why do you think that is?
Well, I think you're definitely letting off more because of the worn tires. Maybe that's just allowing you to hook that bottom a little better as we see the leader 42 coming in for service here.
So Joshua Moyers takes the lead, leads lap 33. Our 94 scheduled here tonight, 61 to go.
15, Matt Watkins getting around Randall Coleman here. Randall all the way back to third now.
Looks like the 68 and 15 have done a little better job of saving those tires than our two drivers that were out front for most of this first run. See Coleman down pit lane. Tyler Mallon going to be really hot. Going to go first.
Around. Tyler Mallon almost going around. Randall Coleman does go around. He's going to lose a ton of time here.
What do we talk about in the show open, Weaver?
A tricky pit road, and it has struck here early. Not what you were looking for on your first green flag pit stop of the night.
Randall Coleman, STP Chevy, going to lose a bunch of spots.
We're going to have a yellow on track. Oh, the one just got tagged by Sean Whitehill.
And it's not a break for these drivers on pit lane because they're going to lose their lap no matter what now, Weaver.
Yeah, gonna have to hope everybody in front of you comes down pit road, take a wave around, but you're still gonna be starting at the back of the field at best.
Get a replay of what happened here. One car, Carroll, really slow there on the bottom, just goes for a spin all by his lonesome. That Sean Whitehill tags him. Like Sean was a little indecisive getting on the brakes, trying to steer the car. And to make sure he didn't make contact with that one, but nonetheless does. It's going to bring out our second caution of the night after the one goes for that spin. Look at it. Rest of our drivers that didn't pit on the pit lane now. Moyer's going to win that race off pit road.
Joe Anderson picking up some spots on pit road there.
Good stop for the 93 team. Ricky on YouTube saying the 9 has a handsome car. Let's talk about that 9 car. Randall Coleman recently lost both his grandmother and grandfather in the last 2 weeks, running this tribute number 9 for his grandfather, who was a big Petty, Rich Petty Racing motorsports fan. So running the STP colors tonight in honor of him. So a heavy hearts down there on the 9 crew this evening, looking for a good finish. And a really good-looking race car, Weaver.
Yeah, Joe, a real sharp-looking car. I'm sure his grandfather is looking down, smiling, seeing that on the track. Feelings and condolences go out to Randall and his family in this tough time. Joe, right now, 68. Joshua Moyers is your leader. I believe everybody in front of him is going to be taking the wave around once these pace car lights go out.
Gonna be a busy caution or busy restart for the admins here. So Joshua Moyers will lead us back to green. Jovan Anderson, big winner there in the 93. Gonna be all the way up on the front row. Matt Watkins, Ediver in the 09. Jeff Goodpaster, Chubby Roberson, John Foreman, Cody Luke. Going to be your top 10 for the restart. So a bunch of drivers benefiting from that caution. Also, a couple drivers, big losers on that caution. Comes to mind Randall Coleman in the number 9, 81 of Tyler Mallon. And our points leader, Jacob Smetana. Now, those drivers all getting some of those stage points or playoff points or bonus points. I don't know what, they're not playoff points, but stage points at least. Let's call them that. For the sake of consistency. You can't get too complacent because you got those points, though, right?
No, not at all, Joe. I definitely think...
You gotta stop and think.
No, you keep catching me in the middle of a yawn. I don't want to yawn in everybody's ear. Been a long day. But you definitely can't get complacent here when you're in the round of 8. You gotta be out here fighting for every point at every chance you can get them.
Field makes their way into the Geico restart zone, and back away we go. Green flag, lap 40 of 94.
Another rough restart from that outside line. Jovan Anderson, this time the leader of it. A little slow, going to slot into third spot here behind Matt Watkins.
And after such a good start to the race on our initial one, the outside line took 4 of those top 5 spots off the bat, and didn't seem like they were looking back up until that first caution. Now, as you said, they not a good couple of restarts right now for the driver on the outside. Matt Watkins up into second, as you said. Joshua Moyer still leads in the 68. We're trying to get single filed, although right now you got John Foreman and Cody Luke battling for position, that for the 7th spot on the track.
Joe, and you mentioned a lot of drivers not really able to benefit from that yellow. I do think Randall Coleman probably got a little bit of a benefit after that spin getting on pit road. Kind of a little bit of damage control. Definitely didn't gain an advantage, but you never know when you're put in the back like that. It makes you think a little different. Maybe you're going to change up your strategy. Maybe we see a couple more drivers that will hold back and save their tires a little bit that otherwise wouldn't have.
Saw Greg Lovell go down the pit lane, now exiting pit road. Wonder if there was a restart violation there. There's been a fear, too, that the black flag wouldn't get cleared in time. So, was Lovell one of those wave-around drivers? There were so many of them.
That he was, Joe.
Still got a gaggle here. Ediver to the inside of Roberson. At John Foreman to the inside of Tyler Stallhood. Cody Luke to his outside. A gaggle of cars, and here comes Smetana in the 42.
42 Hooters Ford making that charge back up to the front. It's been the fastest car all day, but now mired back in traffic due to a yellow.
Still side by side with Foreman and Luke.
You really can't let this frustrate you too much. It's still pretty early in the race. You know you have the speed under you. You know you're going to get by these guys eventually. I know it can be very frustrating when you got two cars that you know are slower, too wide in front of you, but you just gotta keep your head down, run your own race, and you'll get the positions eventually.
Edver in the 09 going to wash up. 70 going to try to get to his inside. You got Randall Coleman to the inside of Denny Carroll. Carroll 2 laps down right now in that number 1 car. Ali Liara and Greg Lovell both 1 lap down. Liara right now in the free pass spot. Hasn't been easy to make up positions here tonight, though. We're seeing that 42. We know Smetana's always fast in that Hooters car. Hasn't been able to make up the spots, though, on this initial jump from this past restart.
Yeah, Joe, definitely a tougher track to pass at, and it seems like the lines are almost changing every corner, every lap. Which line's going to get the advantage? It seems rather close, honestly. No true advantage line, but you just got to work where you feel strongest in your car. Right now, Smetana's stuck on that bottom line. I don't know if it's really where he'd prefer to be right now, but it's where he's at. He's trying to make it work.
Oh, car around to the back. It's Peter Smetana in the 43. Caution going to come out for the 3rd time this evening. 1 car having some issues, too.
16, Ali Liara also involved. Looked like contact with the 43 late there.
Get a replay of this incident. Going down into turn 3. 1 car. Big send into the back of the 43. Left rears him. And Peter Smetana in the 43. Them down into the track. Liara was already committed down there. But the 43 goes around Weaver here. Working lap 48.
Andrew, like you said, the 1, Denny Carroll just sending it a little too hard there into turn 3. Contact with the 43 sends him around.
Split strategies here on pit road. Toby Roberson has blown up in the 64. That's one of our playoff drivers.
Oh no, not the way you want the start of the round to go. 64, Toby Roberson was having a pretty strong run. Was up in the top 5, close to it earlier in this race, but going to be an early retirement for them.
We're seeing a split call here. There was a lot of the drivers that had to take the wave around last time. Now, they didn't have... It's not like one of these situations, Weaver, where they had 5-10 laps on their tires. They still had relatively new tires, but they didn't have track position, so they elect to come down pit lane because they didn't have the track position. Our leaders stay out because they do. Split decisions always make interesting races.
Yeah, Joe, I think this might be one of those things, you know, you from here on out, you only need 1 more stop, maybe come in and get that extra set of tires. You're going to, might hurt yourself if we have a late race restart, but if you have them, use them.
Yeah, I mean, we're already halfway through this one, and I don't know about you, but it's been it's been a pretty clean race so far.
Absolutely, Joe. Any race we get the green flag pit stops in,
Blood starts pumping, right?
Oh yeah, it's one of the better ones.
Joshua Moyer still your leader. Matt Watkins second. Joe Van Anderson, Jeff Goodpaster, and Sean Whitehill your top 5. James Moore, Tyler Stallhood, Edver Leal in the 09. And the 8 of Cody Luke, your top 10. I was counting cars as they went down the track, you know, and I lost count because my brain don't work too good. All right, Weaver. If I had to ask you what the trend of the second half of the race is going to be, what would be your summation of it?
I think it's going to be tire management here, Joe. We saw it play a big role in that long green flag run to start the race. If you can manage those tires and be there towards the end, I think it's really going to pay off. You can really make up some spots if you save a little bit of that tire life.
When also managing those sets you have down on the pit lane, now we know our top 5 drivers all have 1 extra set compared to the rest of the field. Tyler Stallhood in the 27 might be a little shorter on tires too, of course, involved in that first incident, although I think that 27 might have just come down for fuel. Was the first car off pit road by a mile. Coming to the restart this time, going to be lap 53 of 94. Puts us in that 42 laps to go range. 42, of course, the number that Noah Gragson will drive next year in the Cup Series, and Ty Dillon drove this year in the NASCAR Cup Series. I didn't have anything else to say, so I needed some filler to act like we're not lazy, Weaver.
I like it, Joe. I like it.
Moyers with control, the number 68 AMD Radeon Chevrolet. Matt Watkins to his outside in that 15 Funko Toyota. Rolling into the Geico restart zone. Back down and away we go. Green flag once again here from Kentucky. Bad restart at the back for a couple drivers. Seeing that splinter up as Moyers takes the lead down into 1 and Watkins takes a firm hold to 2nd.
Yeah, 15 and Watkins not getting the best restart on that outside line, but we've seen it give people trouble all night, but still able to hold on to 2nd place. Joe and Anderson going to slot into 3rd.
Faster there in the 33. We're getting dicey here at the front. Ediver all the way down on the bottom. You can't go down there. That's out of bounds tonight. Didn't mention that off the rip, but if that 09 car made up any positions, that was an illegal maneuver.
Yeah, Joe, definitely something to keep in mind on. Haven't had to mention it, but now we do. Going below that yellow line on the front stretch or anywhere on the track to make up position. Not allowed to do that, and you do have to be fully below it like he was there. You can dip a tire under there if you need to, but...
And of course, not going to be penalized if you're avoiding incident, that type of thing. So, there are some common sense rules in place there, or at least understandings, not manipulations, interpretations of the rules. I mean, you could manipulate the rule if you really wanted to, right?
Anything could be manipulated, Joe.
A1 Tyler Mallon now to the outside of that 09. 09 dipping 2 tires down there that time.
Oh, we got a wreck in the back.
Smetana around for the 2nd time tonight. Lovell kind of caught up in it there at the end. Let's get you a replay. What happened here? Contact 08843. Lovell hard into the outside wall. Front end collision there. Smetana more with the side.
You know what, Joe? I think somebody's played a trick on that 43 car. Must have a kick me sticker there on that left rear. 2 yellows in a row. Someone has gotten into it. Ended up spinning around the 43.
There's Bristol, our producer, doing a good job of working the cameras and fetching the replays. Or a helicopter cam.
Majority of the field coming down pit road here, Joe. I assume for a lot that we're going to see some gas and goes here.
Let's use this 9 car as a case study. Down into the box. Tires going on. So they've used up their extra set then. Right? I mean... Still
I
gonna
believe so.
be a set down to a lot of these leaders. Smetana, first one off the pit lane. No tires there on the 42, Weaver?
Let's take a look for you here, Joe. I would assume so with the lead that he was able to come out with. Yep, just a splash and go for the 42 of Jacob Smetana. Saving one of those sets possibly if we have a later restart here. Hey, you got some other playoffs going on. The MLS Cup playoffs underway. Yeah, we got to appeal to everybody out there. Yeah, come in here and get every last drop that you can into that fuel cell and hopefully try and make it to the end of this race. Yeah, I think I do agree, but I think the big difference being we could always come back down and get tires whenever we wanted, something that these drivers don't have the liberty of doing. '71 car trying to hold that bottom line, but just can't stick it to that yellow line. Washing up a little bit, going to lose some time here. Stacking up the field behind him. Matt Watkins looking to the outside now. 33, Jeff Goodpasser got put in the wall there by the 42, able to hold on to it. Not going to spin out, but going to be losing some time. 42 also losing some time here. Nine and Randall Coleman trying to make the pass on the outside here for fourth position. Has a strong car, but been mired in the back after a untimely yellow. Gonna complete that pass for the fourth position. Well, Joe, like you said, when we were coming back green there, we were very close on our fuel window, so looks like some drivers employing the strategy to save a little bit of fuel going into the corner is going to be hitting the clutch. That's when you're going to see the cars sink into the ground, is when they have that clutch depressed, not on the throttle at that time. So something to keep in mind, who's going to be able to stretch this fuel if you got to save a little bit here. Yeah, Joe, it's a tough balance trying to figure out how much you can get on that clutch, how much fuel you can save, but you also want to stay up to pace and maybe even try and get a couple positions on the people that are saving a little harder than you are. Well, it looked like he was employing the strategy of saving tires from most of this race. Not so much the case here on this run. Don't think it would really make much of a difference. We see a lot of people letting off a lot more than they normally do.
Weaver, you sounded like a crazy man. Apparently you were speaking to yourself.
Oh boy, it happens often, doesn't it, Joe?
The fat fingers of mine strike again. Thank you, Brian. Brian Hunt in chat on YouTube.
Looking at the lap times right now, Joe, not too far off these drivers' best laps, but definitely closer to what we were seeing them running at the end of that green flag run before we had the green flag pit stops. It shows you just how much these drivers are saving, how much they're letting off going into these corners to save that extra little bit of fuel.
And these guys, they're staying pretty close with the 09. The 09 not clutching at all.
Also an advantage you have at a track like this with a little bit of draft, where you can kind of stay behind a car that's not clutching, not saving as much as you, and get that big run down the straightaways with the draft, and gives you an even bigger chance to save fuel.
Now, if you're seeing all these guys heavy fuel save behind you, do you start to get worried at all, Weaver? I mean,
I don't think so. I think whatever bid you made, you got to lay in it. So if you've made up your mind by this point that you're going to run it out, whatever happens, then that's what you got to do. Because if you try to start saving now, you're going to have to be saving way harder than everybody else. You're just going to lose a lot of time. I'll tell you what, Joe, we are into some heavy fuel saving. They're starting the clutch before they get into turn 1, and they're practically into turn 2 before they're off that clutch and back on throttle.
I didn't think they were going to be this close. Oh, that's telling me that they are still very close on fuel. I figured we're about, what, 10 laps into this run almost? Over 10 laps into this run. I figured they'd be feeling pretty good right now. And Watkins trying to make a pass for second here. Again, we watch these top 3 battling. Coleman way wide there through turns 3 and 4. Ediver down the pit lane.
Ediver, knowing he's not going to be able to make that number on fuel, going to come down and pit early, get the fresh tires, and hopefully go back out there and catch up these drivers if they run out of fuel.
The other thing we're seeing, too, and I don't know if we didn't see it at the beginning of the race because everyone was so spread out off of the jump, but very closely knit field right now. All single file. Coleman going to get in behind Matt Watkins as Watkins takes the lead in the 15. But single file, nice little procession right now at the front of the field.
Yeah, it might be a little bit of a strategy call there for the 9 of Randall Coleman there, getting back in behind Matt Watkins. Doesn't want to be that leader burning up more fuel.
Folks, as always, cannot thank you enough for tuning into JTN. As we approach the end of this race, would like to remind you to hit the like button, subscribe if you're over on YouTube, follow us if you haven't already here on Twitch. We cannot thank you enough for all of your support this evening. Be loud, be proud in chat. Again, you can follow us on our social media at JoeTowNetwork across all platforms that we're on. Because boy, oh boy, this next year is going to be a fun one. Right now, it's Matt Watkins out in front of the field here, opening race of the round of 8, looking to solidify his spot in the championship in 4 weeks' time, live here on JTN. Randall Coleman, Joshua Moyers, and Tyler Mell, the rest of your top 4, all playoff drivers. Then it's Jovan Anderson trying to play spoiler right now, running in the 5th position in the 93. We're going low and slow right now, Weaver. The pace has dropped off.
Yeah, Joe, we're running pretty slow lap time, similar to what they were running at the very end of that long run, trying to save every last drop of fuel they can. And the problem really becomes, Joe, whenever somebody decides to turn it up, they better be good, because it goes back down really quickly. You start burning that fuel real quick. All the calculators that these teams have, they only display a readout relative to the speed and way that they're running now. So if they're looking for a number and they want to be able to drive it at the end, they got to get a little bit more than what they say they need to in this race.
All right, why do they gotta make it so difficult?
They make you think.
Moyers there in the 68. You see these top 3 kind of a little bit closer together. Mal in the 81 is backed up to the 93 of Jovan Anderson. Moyers is kind of bridging that gap a little bit. AMD right now in front of Intel. That's an important thing for all the computer folks out there. You an AMD or Intel guy?
I don't really have any strong feelings either way. I personally always used Intel, definitely lean Intel, but whatever fits your fancy.
Well, we here at JTN would like to say that AMD products have powered our operations, so...
Well, you know what that means, Joe? They're working together here tonight for JTN.
See, and
there's
if they
no
can,
wrong answer.
If the two major microchip creators can work together, so can you. Got 'em. World peace, Weaver. World peace.
World peace, and if one of those major chip processing manufacturers would like to sponsor us, send us some free stuff. We're always open to that too.
We can always test stuff out, Put processors, heat sinks, motherboards to their test.
Oh yeah, well, we put it all through the ringer.
It's time off of turn number 4. It's going to be time for our TWB 10 to go. This race has flown by, and folks, from porches to patios to more, for all of your outdoor lighting needs, like maybe a night race here at Kentucky as the caution's out, well, you want to head on over to GardenLightsDirect.com because they have you covered. Again, that's GardenLightsDirect.com here on your TWB 10 to go. Weaver, caution out. John Foreman slow in turn 4.
Yeah, Joe, and that really throws a wrench into anybody's plans that was saving fuel. Now it's going to come down to who has that extra set in pit road that they can come and put on. I assume we're going to see a lot of drivers coming in at least for fuel.
So it looks like James Moore, that angle looks like the 03 drifts up into the 70. Get a look at it from the helicopter cam, usually a little bit better of a view. Yeah, I'd say the 03 came up. What do you say, Weaver?
Yeah, it looks like it there, Joe. 03 just a little too hard into the corner. Comes up into the 70, John Foreman. Good job, Tyler Stallhood, to avoid hitting the 70 too hard there.
That's been a common thing tonight, it seems like. Just a difference in opinions and how hard you can really attack these corner entries.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't get that grip that you're expecting when you go into the corner, and it washes up on you pretty quick.
Well, cars on pit lane, everyone taking 4 tires, so everyone still had a set. Matt Watkins first to roll away in the 15. Going to win the race off pit road.
Matt Watkins did not look like he took tires.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure, Joe. I think that car was on the ground the whole stop. I'll double check with the crew. Yeah, it was a fuel only for the 15. I believe everybody else was able to take tires.
That is a perplexing call. I just wanted to make sure, I guess they were good on fuel.
Possibly maybe used that last set at another time. Not sure there, but...
Well, I think they were all good. I think they all at least had, if cars like the 9 and the 81 were able to come take another set. 15, Matt Watkins had stayed out earlier when those guys came down and took tires, so I think they still had another set at least.
Gonna be interesting to see what happens here, Joe. A lot of laps on those tires for the 5th and Matt Watkins.
Trying to clean them up right now down on the apron. Gotta be a nervous. I bet you they thought more drivers would take a 2-tire, no-tire swing at it at the end. That's the only thing I can think of, right?
Possibly, Joe. I'll be honest, I don't know. There's quite a few laps left even for a 2-tire call.
We're not in Vegas, right? We're in Kentucky. So there's no reason to roll the dice. Well, I guess... Oh, man. Never mind. Horse racing.
There's always reason to roll the dice, Joe.
There's always a reason to gamble.
Absolutely.
And you can get our codes for I can get my code for DraftKings and FanDuel. No. Unless the streams get shut down because I said that. No matter.
Yeah, remember everybody, when you bet, always have a game plan. Never bet more than you can afford to lose.
Remember, there's gambling hotlines in every state.
Casinos are there to win. There's a reason why they're big fancy buildings.
Because they win, right?
Because they take your money and run.
Or am I going to stay out here to get the wave around?
All night, Edverleo taking the lucky dog.
Going to be 5 laps to go when we get the green flag, because we'll get it on lap number 90. Caution would appear to end this race, or at least make it a 1-lap dash to the finish if we get it early enough. Haven't really seen that tonight. Drivers being really aggressive. We've seen a lot of 3-wide, 4-wide, even drivers flirting with 5-wide tonight, Weaver, but I still think this track is plenty wide, at least for these drivers to make things work. Knowing that you only got 5 more circuits around here to make up spots, especially for some of these playoff drivers like a Sean Romero right now, who is almost shotgun on the field for this restart. How aggressive do you have to get?
I think it's balls to the wall now, Joe. Like you said, most likely next flag is going to end it. Aside from the white flag, you're going to have to get all the spots you can here and cut your losses going into these next 2 races here to finish out this round of 8.
Matt Watkins will lead us back to green in the Funko Pop Toyota. Joshua Moyers and everyone on back has new, fresh Goodyear Racing tires to try to pass that 15 who just topped off on fuel. Into the Geico restart zone we will go. Green flag. We're back underway here from Kentucky. 5 laps to go.
Matt
car
Watkins
blowing up.
Oh, no.
43 is Smetana blowing up towards the back. See if that brings out a caution. Going to be a mad dash here. Watkins up the track. Moyer's going to get to the inside. Jovan Anderson also going to get to the inside off of turn number 2. See Tyler Mallon looking to the inside now.
Yellow is out. We were racing back here.
Oh, we got a crash.
Wreck.
Randall Coleman hard to the outside wall. Tyler Stallhood. Sean Romero. Matt Watkins up and over in the number 15. Coming to the line, though, it's Joshua Moyers. Wins the race back. Could be the race for the checkered flag.
I think that would likely end it, Joe, knowing how long our cautions have been leading up to this.
You know, look at it. Caution's already out at this point. Tyler Stallhood into the back of Randall Coleman, who gets into the back of the 15 of Matt Watkins. Watkins, heavy hit there. Never like to be up on the side and flipping. Rolling down the banking goes the 15. And one more. There we go. These next-gen cars, though, they're tough.
Very tough cars, able to keep it rolling after such a heavy wreck. Really a tough situation there. Randall Coleman, Tyler Stallhood racing hard going to turn 3, but they're going to have to check up for Matt Watkins. Rather slow compared to everybody else with those old tires. And just a big accordion effect there on the outside line that causes that wreck.
Looks like Stallhood might get a little loose on corner entry, Weaver. Don't know if it's because of the checkup, but looked like he thought about making it 3 wide, getting in between the 42 and 9.
It definitely looks like he was coming up the track a little bit there too. I think the contact was happening sooner, later, if not sooner.
And the second hit with Romero in the 71. See how this brews. Like we're 3 wide. Liara on the bottom. Ediver making a move to the middle. Oh, and James Moore gets into the back of Ediver. Kind of how that one happens. I think the 09 and the 71 checking up. Both 3 doesn't check up as quick.
03 coming from pretty far back there, sitting in the corner, racing back here, trying to get all the positions you can, and ends up taking out Liel and Sean Romero. Need the lights to go out here, Joe, but they stay on.
So Joshua Moyers will be our race winner tonight. Will take his spot in the championship from Rockingham 3 weeks from tonight. And that number 68, Joe Van Anderson finishes second. Tyler Mallon finishes third. Folks, we'll have interviews with our top 3 drivers here at the conclusion of tonight's event. Would appreciate if you stuck around for those ones. Always fun to talk with our top 3 finishers. Jacob Smetana rallies back to a 4th place spot, and Sean Whitehill rounds out your top 5 in that Detroit E-Diesel Ford. White flag being displayed, Weaver. Exciting race comes down to an unfortunate end with the 43 blowing up, giving us that caution flag that we talked about not wanting to see, and then madness ensues, of course, with everyone trying to race back, grabbing as many spots as they could.
Yeah, Joe, and you're trying to set up there, you got quite a few 5-6 laps left to race, but then all of a sudden you only got 2 corners left. You got a lot of spots to make up there, a lot of drivers that were a little further back than they wanted, and we've seen what happened.
Coming off of turn number 4, Joshua Moyers will punch his ticket to the championship. 4. We'll be singing, "I'm going to Homestead, I'm going to Homestead soon enough." I believe there's a lot of angry campers here tonight with the way things finish up, but nonetheless, I think a very entertaining race for the fans at home.
Yeah, Joe, don't let that finish distract you. I know things got a little chaotic there towards the end, but that was a very solid race here from Kentucky. Had some good green flag racing, a bunch of different strategy options going on, and Joshua Moyer, starting at the back, came through early on in that first green flag run, saving the tires, and was able to keep it out front after that.
Burn it down, Joshua Moyers, your race winner here from the Kentucky Speedway. take it over and park it in Quaker State Victory Lane, which is very hard to see from our cameras. There, you kind of see it. Well, here's your race winner this evening. Move on to our post-race coverage. Get the results on your screens momentarily, folks. Again, cannot thank you enough for watching here tonight on JTN, whether you were on YouTube or Twitch. Hope you folks out there, maybe if it was your first time watching, you elect to follow, subscribe, do all those things. You can follow us on all of our social media at JoeTowNetwork. Another fantastic Fast Cup Series race here this evening. Results again incoming. And, yeah, cannot thank you folks enough for watching tonight. Weaver, you got any words of advice for maybe folks that, say they don't have any plans Tuesday night, maybe Thursday night, maybe even next Saturday night? What should they be doing?
Well, I tell you what, Joe, if you ain't got plans on those nights, definitely come check us out here at JTN. There's going to be some great live racing action for you. And even if you have stuff to do on those nights and maybe some other night, Monday night, Wednesday night, you can always check back on our back catalog of previous races. Got some good diecast reviews on JTN too, some great podcasts for listening to. Got all the type of entertainment you might need and want here at JTN.
As we get these results to you folks at home, because sometimes they take a little editing around. Again, cannot thank you enough for all of your support this evening. Been a fantastic night of racing, one that came up at the last minute. And always good to see decent viewership as well in those situations. Let's go ahead and start by bringing in... I'm going to go third to first tonight, maybe?
I think so, Joe. It's a good idea.
All right, let's go ahead and start by bringing in our third place finisher. Driver of the number 81 Intel Toyota, Tyler Mellon. Tyler, you got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I think you might be doing a little bit better, though. A good, solid podium finish here tonight. Get yourself into Final Four contention, of course, with the point situation. What are the feelings like after a weird race from Kentucky tonight?
Well, surprised I got, third after getting wrecked under yellow for no reason by someone who causes problems every single week and refuses to take responsibility for any of them. But, that was interesting, for sure. I think he took out 2 championship contenders and wrecked and flipped over another guy, so I don't think he should be coming back, in my opinion, on that. But now that that's out of the way, I wasn't actually very fast tonight. I couldn't really figure out the track until about 10 to go, I felt like. Not 10 to go, but at least the second half of the race. I just didn't feel competitive. It was very hard to pass, but a lot of fun tonight, racing with everyone throughout the whole field, save for a select few.
Folks, you got your results now on your screens at home. Moyer's name in green, the rest of our playoff field in yellow. I don't know where to go with that, Tyler. You made this very awkward.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's okay. We didn't see it. That's why. We didn't see it.
It was on lap 48. I don't know if you're still on the...
No. No.
Well.
So check out, what is it, at melonperson18 on Twitter. And we'll get the clip there.
I guess so. I don't normally post things on Twitter. But
post an angry Eric Jones tweet.
Don't ever hit me under yellow again.
There we go. How obviously playoffs and formats, and I know there's a lot of detractors, there's a lot of people that like it. From the driving standpoint, how frustrating then is that when you're competing for a championship, there's other drivers out there competing for wins, for top 10s, top 5s, whatever it may be, whatever the goals are, because everyone's are different. How do those kind of cross, and are those frustrations because of the different intentions or hopefulness for the outcome of the race, or where is that make being a playoff driver maybe a little more difficult?
It can be frustrating sometimes when you need when you really need to get ahead of the other playoff drivers. Like I don't think I got any stage points today at all, so that was a little frustrating because I did finish behind people who weren't playoff contenders, but at the same time, everyone's going to run their own race regardless of what situation you're in and what situation everyone else is in. It's not their problem. It's not their job to worry about what I'm doing or what I need or what anyone else needs. So obviously that doesn't mean they should just run through you, but
right.
It's important to remember that everyone is still out there doing their own thing, and you can't really be upset with them for that, regardless of what position you're in.
Tyler, obviously still a podium finish here tonight, and I do believe you did get one stage point. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, so there's the there's the cupcake we needed here in the media center for you to brighten your day.
Sorry for going off at the beginning.
No,
felt like it needed to be said.
No, it's. I think it's warranted, but obviously a great finish for you tonight in this 81 team. You're gonna hopefully get yourself in better standing with 2 more tough races these next 2 weeks with Homestead and Martinsville. Before we let you go, though, I know you got a bunch of great folks that get you out to the track, and I know there's you got some great things that you're working on that I know you love to shout out. So the floor is yours, buddy.
Well, first of all, Intel was on the car tonight, as it has been every other race this season, and I don't think I've shouted them out once. So I'm not keeping that sponsorship next season, probably. But yeah, I want to thank Randall for hosting this, and you guys for broadcasting. You guys do such a great job. And I want to shout out my own league, Melon Car, join Lights, have some fun there. We do have fun there. Yeah, I don't know. Thank you for doing this again.
It's our pleasure as always, Tyler. Again, congratulations on the podium finish, and as always, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Of course.
Tyler Mallon, driver the number 81, your third place finisher here tonight. Let's go ahead and next bring in our second place finisher, one of those non-playoff drivers, those pesky non-playoff drivers, driver the number 93, Jovan Anderson. And I said the pesky once he was in here, folks, in case you want to see behind the curtain. But Jovan, second place run here tonight. How's that feel? Because I feel like this race, I didn't see that 93 car up front for as long as I think we normally do.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. And you're definitely right. Took it a little bit easier than I probably should have earlier on, and we had a couple cautions come out, so I just slowly pulled myself back forward, and then we got by caution there at around 40 to go, which kind of turned it into a fuel race, so that kind of set me back from just saying, I'm just gonna go straight to the front, heck with it. So we were just positioning ourselves the best we can. We were ready to go. We were starting to go forward right there, and then the caution came out again right at the end, so that kind of took it out of my hands, but we hung on and took one last stab at it at the end, and we got as close as we could.
If we get those last 5 laps, how heavy, how hotly contested would that battle have been between you and Josh and then 68?
I'm pretty confident it would have been very highly contested. It would have been a lot of fun, and I feel bad for Matt. He was going to be right up there in the mix too, and Randall. They had some tough luck, but it would have been a really interesting battle between 4 or 5 is there right at the end.
Obviously, looking at your non-playoff driver, so a second place run doesn't mean anything championship wise. But what does that do for the psyche? of being, you sound really familiar. I can't put my finger on why, but what does that do for the psyche behind the wheel of the race car?
Oh, it does a lot. It does a lot. We just take it one day at a time and learn everything we can.
Tired of finishing second?
Nobody likes finishing second, Joe. You know this.
I mean, I didn't finish second too many times. I didn't win ever, but didn't finish second too. But no, not this isn't about me. This is about you, Joven. A great run here tonight. Second place finish. Before we let you go, floor is yours, buddy. You know what to do.
Thank you, Joe. I just want to say thank you to you guys for doing the broadcast. Thanks everybody for watching. Shout out to the guys back home at Bomb Squad Racing, guys at the clubhouse. I see Bagoo's in the chat. Hi, barbecue. Shout out to Brian, Kathy Boyles, and everybody for coming down and racing and making this as fun as it can be. So I appreciate y'all and hope to see you again soon.
Joven, as always, it's a pleasure talking with you. And again, congratulations on the second place finish.
Thank you.
Joven Anderson, driver the number 93, your second place finisher here this evening. Well, let's go ahead and bring in our race winner. He's the driver of the number 68 AMD Chevrolet, Joshua Moyers. Josh, you got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
You drove that car all the way to victory lane. How good does the win feel tonight, knowing that first off, it's a checkered flag, but also that it's an automatic berth to the Final Four?
It's definitely a relief for sure. It feels great. I've been under the weather since about Thursday, so I wasn't sure how my performance was going to be tonight. And it was rough, but I had something figured out, especially in turns 3 and 4 tonight. I don't know what the deal was, but we were able to capitalize, and we're going to be battling for a championship here in a few weeks.
So you're saying this was your flu game?
Right.
Obviously, a great run here tonight from Kentucky. How hard was it, though? You started all the way at the back of the field, dead last tonight. You finished first. How difficult was that at the start? Because it really looked like you took a methodical approach to climbing up through the standings.
Yeah, there at the beginning, I was just trying to stay out of any potential trouble. There was a wreck, I think, on lap 4 or 5 that we scooted past. But I just kind of bought my time, just made a pass here or there, and then about halfway through the first stage there, I decided to put the hammer down and to try to get as many stage points as we could, and was able to get up to third and get a decent amount. So, but it was fun seeing what I could do to help save the tires and not fall off so deep into a run and capitalize on that was really good.
So, last question here. As you look to these next 2 weeks before you get to go race for the championship here, do you still try to win races, try to keep some of those fellow playoff drivers out of the championship by winning those races, taking those automatic tickets out of their hands, or do you kind of just lay low, let those guys maybe forget about you the next 2 weeks, and bam, kick them right in the face for the championship race?
To be honest, the first option sounds really fun, but more than likely, I'll just play like I have been. I'm not going to, race over my head or anything like that. And I'll try to keep my competitors in mind. If I am going for any kind of moves, because Homestead and Martinsville, I think those are the 2 tracks we're going to. I really like both of those. So, if I'm in a position where I could win one or both of those coming up and just keep the momentum going, I'll definitely will try to go for that. So.
Well, Josh, it was a great weekend for you, for more reasons than one, I know. Before we let you go, though, the floor is yours. You got some great folks to thank. You know what to do, buddy.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank you all for doing the broadcast. Y'all do an amazing job. I'd like to thank AMD, Radeon for sponsoring the car, Chevrolet. Thanks to Randall for putting on this league. It's a great league. and thanks for everybody, all the competition. It makes it a fun place to race.
Josh, as always, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And again, congratulations on the win and the berth in the Championship 4.
Thank you very much.
Joshua Moyers, driver number 68, your race winner tonight from Kentucky. Well, Weaver, that's going to wrap up our coverage here for the folks at home. Sum it up for them one last time.
Well, Joe, I think we had a pretty fun one tonight here. Some good racing early on, had a little bit of chaos at the end to finish it. I think some playoff drivers left here happy tonight. Some of them left upset, setting up for some good racing here in the rest of the round of 8.
And have some great racing here in the rest of round of 8. Remember, you can watch the next 2 races on Top Dragster right here on YouTube. Our friend Andrew does a great job of calling the majority of the FAST Renegade Pro Cup Series events. And you can catch that championship race 3 weeks' time right here on JTN. Remember to follow us on all of our social media at JoeTowNetwork, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube now, with their new handles that they're using, again, at JoeTowNetwork. You also follow us on, or go subscribe to JTN2 here on YouTube as well. You can follow us on Twitch now. We got those links posted on our Twitter. And again, cannot thank you folks enough. For all of us here at JTN, for our producer, Bristol, for Joseph Weaver, I've been Joe Twansky. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time live right here on JTN. So long for now, folks. Yeah, and they're going to be 3 wide coming to the checker. Never mind, they're going to be... Oh, what a turn 4 into the trials. Whitehill is through the grass. It's going to be Noah Joyce winning his first career race in the Red Bull Cup Series.
Off the ride and a wreckage behind him. Good cars flying everywhere. Cars upside down. It doesn't matter. Noah Joyce has done it. He's won at Daytona in the 3 car.
Behind, they're going to be side by side again. Contact there between Sinner and Bordeaux for
The contact! Oakley into the wall. That's going to be Jack Healy coming to the line.
Jack Healy with the right